This Perp back with another video, and I just got done watching Evil Dead Rise. This is the brand new Evil Dead movie. I think it's like the fifth movie. It's been 10 years, you know what I'm saying, since we gotten an Evil Dead movie. So I was really looking forward to watching this. This was definitely one of my most anticipated movies and my most anticipated horror movie to watch, next to like Maxine. I don't know what else is going to drop, but it seems like this year is going to be yet another year for horror. And yeah, I'm going to not talk a lot about spoilers in this review, just in case people want to kind of check this out for yourself. But I will say there's a lot of things in this movie that make me think that they are definitely going to connect a lot of these dots. You know, who's to say they won't connect, you know, a lot of the old Evil Deads with the remakes with now this. And I had a prediction that with the recent trend of requels and, you know, old horror franchises coming back, I could see the next film being Evil Dead Lives, and then the third one being Evil Dead Dies, where we kind of bring all these different characters that we've seen throughout the Evil Dead franchise and wrap it up in a bow. But all that aside, my predictions, let's get into this movie. This was an interesting watch because this time around we're not in a cabin, we are at a apartment complex, and this is focusing around a family this time around. This is a very unique Evil Dead movie because usually we're just stuck in the woods. We either just, for the first two movies, we're at the cabin. Army of Darkness is the only one that kind of goes completely somewhere else. The remake goes back to the cabin. This is a completely different setting, more claustrophobic with just how small this apartment complex is and just what ends up happening. So like I said, it's focusing on this family. We have Ellie, and this is the first time that we actually get children kind of in this movie, and her children are Bridget, Danny, and Cassie. The father is not in the picture. They explain that throughout the movie. Maybe he'll pop up in a future film. Who knows? They leave a lot open for things to happen in other films or future films, whatever they decide to do with this. So their aunt, or Ellie's sister, Beth, is the main character we follow. She comes to visit. You know, she is getting back from being off tour. She travels a lot, and her and her sister haven't really been that connected because of her work, and you know that kind of adds to the family dynamic or the family drama surrounding this movie, where, you know, a lot of different characters are into different things. Like Danny's also into music, which kind of plays a part in how this movie kind of gets kicked off and how they find the Necronomicon. There's this big ass earthquake, and you know there's some interesting backstory as well that they give to the lore of Evil Dead that makes me think that they're going to start to connect these movies probably down the line. Or I would be cool if it's an anthology series where a Necronomicon could pop up anywhere, and you know it's gonna affect people in different ways and yada yada yada. But I just think that they are trying to connect these movies in a way. So what ends up happening after this earthquake, Danny stumbles upon the Necronomicon, and he starts to kind of mess around with it. And because he's into music, he has a turntable, so he starts to play the stuff backwards, and then boom, we into the shits. Ellie gets possessed, as you see in the trailers, and it's just madness. And I really enjoyed this movie. I thought they got really creative, and where in the remake that was a straight up horror movie, this is definitely in that same vein, but they definitely have a lot more fun and play around with different aspects, with this being, like I said, a family type of movie, just them thrown into the Evil Dead universe, which made for some interesting, bold kind of decisions that I was not expecting for them to go, because there's other people that live in this apartment building. There's another kid that lives in this apartment building, and like I said, they don't shy away from any violence, from kids to teens to adults. Like, everybody pretty much is fair game, and I really appreciate them not being afraid to do something risky, because that's what's been kind of missing with a lot of horror movies. Now, we've had a great run, but we need to continuously push those boundaries, especially with these legacy franchises. We can't just rinse and repeat the same stuff. We have to kind of shake things up a bit, and I really appreciate Evil Dead Rises for that. And the actress that plays Ellie did an amazing job. I just love the eeriness, the creepiness of it. This is like the first Evil Dead where they kind of utilize somewhat of technology, not completely going poltergeist with it, but you definitely kind of see hints of it. So I appreciate everything they were going for with this movie. I definitely had to watch it again to see where it ranks for me, but it definitely left me intrigued to see what's going to happen next. And I like how they start off the movie. I know that I should have started with that, with the opening scene. It has nothing to do with Ellie, but then it kind of brings it back full circle at the end and makes me think like, okay, this is going to be set up for another 2 movies or so down the line, and we're going to get something big. And somewhat of the third act, I could say there are some issues I had with it, but overall, just what I expected going in, I wasn't disappointed at all. I had a lot of fun with this movie. So I would definitely recommend checking this out in theaters. This is definitely worth a watch. I can't wait to see where this franchise goes, because it's still kind of fresh. They don't have too many oversaturation of Evil Dead content. This is only the 5th movie, but if you have seen this movie, let me know your thoughts about it in the comments below. Until next time, I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.